You made him
Hi.
chunky. You made him chunky.
Yay. How are you?
Good. We're just saying
Very
how
good.
disproportionately sized Nev is, so I couldn't make a t-shirt.
Gorgeous. I love him.
He's just so cuddly though.
Ah, I think he's beautiful.
Oh,
There you go. I'll make one at some point. I definitely will.
That's very sweet.
yeah, you've got the bear. Yeah.
Groovy. No, 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 no,
I
no.
just I just went like that and I nearly bit his ear.
So
I
that's how
didn't
they got bit.
have this crazy pink bear.
Oh,
Oh,
I won a fun fair.
I never win
But
at anything like that. Oh wait, no, I won a giant snake.
I was shocked when I won. I was literally paralytically shocked, and I really wanted the pink bear.
Why not though?
all right, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Double L Show. And today we have a very, very special guest. Someone who I'm pretty sure you will all know, or at least will have heard the voice of. So, special guest, do you want to introduce yourself, everybody?
Groovy. Hi, it's me, Nev the bear.
Nev's just chilling over here, like, yeah.
We have our
Oh,
own Nev.
that's a beautiful Nev the bear, Lola. I love it.
He just
Yeah.
sits like this all the time with his arms out.
That's cute. That's the way Nev should be.
Yeah.
So, for those who will follow us on Instagram, you would have saw that about over a month ago now,
No,
we
it's
met.
2 months ago, nearly 3 months ago.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. We met Ross at Comic Con in, what was it?
You knew Cliff?
Near Cliff. I nearly said Darlington.
New
In that
Cliff,
is
yeah.
and that is where Lola presented the homemade Nev. Lola made that herself, by the way. Look how amazing it is. And
Yeah.
that Nev on its chest right there,
Love
that
it.
is the signature.
Yeah, Nev is signed. Cause I know.
Lola, how long did it take you to make Nev the?
Weeks and weeks on end because I couldn't commit to doing it all in one day, which I could have, but I wasn't very good at sewing then. So, yeah.
You got that color perfect, and the texture of the mouth and the ears and the belly, all very, very good.
It's funny because there were actually a pair of socks that I found in my
Yeah.
drawer, and I was like, them are just like perfect. I was like, that is what's gonna happen. I was like, buy socks, you can now be Nev.
And Nev the bear was actually made out of the original Nev the bear was made out of an old Tesco blanket.
Really?
Was Yeah, an old Tesco fleece blanket and a an old jumper. There was the brown part. And he was made by a propsman for the television show Smile. And he was on there was only really one of them. And then they also had a Nev the bear sort of backside so that he could do his little bum dance. And that was really it. There was only one Nev the bear, and they lasted like that for years and years until we got a spin-off show, Bear Behaving Badly. And then we had to make more of them because, as you know, Nev was a bit of a mucky bear, and he would get into jam and ice cream and all kinds of mucky stuff. So he had to go into the wash quite a bit. And the old Nev was not, well, we were suspecting that he wasn't going to last in the wash for much longer, especially on a long running TV show. So we had to get them reproduced. And it was really, really difficult to get them reproduced. It was difficult to find the fabrics, difficult to match them up. And it was difficult for me to kind of get used to new puppets. Each puppet has its own sort of existence, its own life. Um, but yeah, I think we kind of managed in the end.
That is like the coolest thing ever. It
Mm,
really is. I don't think I could like definitely make a smaller version. I feel like the bigger version, I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, somewhere to sit on my bed. He usually sits on my beanbag with everything else that's proportionally sized. Like I've got like a Japanese slash South Korean plush, which is like a meter tall
Oh,
on
wow.
there. So
Yeah. The bigger the better with Nev. He's great. I mean, he's only little. He's only like this big, Nev. I think he's like
Oh,
that big.
It's hard to believe because I feel like TV makes everything look bigger than life.
Bigger, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of everything puppets, I read that you worked with Jim Henson's company, and that to me is just like I don't even
Yeah.
know.
When I was 24 years old, I moved to London from Canada, and I was just waiting tables and working bars. I mean, I was an actor in Canada, and I'd done a lot of mask work, and I'd studied at theater school, and I've been an actor since I was like 13. But I'd done very little puppeteering work, very, very little. But when you're 24 and you're kind of like you're a bit of a goer, like I was. I saw an ad in the newspaper, literally an ad in the newspaper in London with a Kermit the Frog on it, saying we're looking for people who want to be trained as Muppeteers. And I just rocked up and was like, I want to do this. So I went into the first round of auditions, and then I went into the second round of auditions, then I got into the third round of auditions, and they trained me with, hey, hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. Yeah, they trained me to be a Muppeteer. I was trained by Elmo, Kevin Clash. Elmo.
Oh
He
my God.
trained me, and yeah, it was wild. I mean, I trained with him for a couple of months. Oh, look, you got Elmo, and you got Big Bird. Oh my God, Big Bird.
Yeah,
Big
we've got
Bird is
Sesame Street onesies, me and Lee.
is Big Bird. What do we think? Big Bird is Big Bird. He, she, or they? Big Bird
Oh,
is like
Interesting question.
I would
Is it?
probably.
It's like because when we were little kids, I'd be like, "Wow, I love her," and people would be like, "Her? Big Bird's a boy," and I'd be like, "A boy? It's a girl." Be like, "No, it's not." So I kind of think like Big Bird was the first sort of non-binary character.
I wouldn't know. But then you've got like this one's like baby bird.
That's a baby bird. Yeah, that's definitely baby bird.
Yeah.
But Big Bird was such a crazy, freaky bird, so huge, and loved the Snuffleupagus, which I loved as well. Do you remember the Snuffleupagus?
We didn't get any Sesame Street, would you believe that?
Oh my
We were
God, you were
robbed. We were
deprived as
robbed.
children.
The literally, I think,
Snuffleupagus was like a big woolly mammoth character that
yes.
nobody could see but Big Bird. For years, nobody could see the Snuffleupagus except for Big Bird. And then they had to change it because um, nobody believed Big Bird when he would say that he was talking, he saw the Snuffleupagus, and people would be like, we never saw it, so it didn't exist. And so they thought that they would change it because children who may go to adults and say that something had happened to them, and children weren't believed by grown-ups, they were concerned that that would be the message to children, that they weren't going to be believed by grown-ups. So they changed it so everybody could see Snuffleupagus.
Oh,
Sesame Street was so on the game. I loved it.
That is amazing.
I know.
That they had that thought to be like, we want these kids to grow up with this message. Let's change what we're doing to
Yeah.
fit this in. That's incredible that a show would
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. Also, when in the 1980s, one of their main characters, Mr. Hooper, who ran the local grocery store, died. And I mean, you could Google this and find it all out and see the episode. They were at a loss of what to do. So they just decided to actually let him die on the show. And it was Big Bird that actually comes and is like, I don't really understand what death is. Because they were like, Mr. Hooper's died. And so they have this beautiful episode where they talk about how everybody lives and everybody dies. Rather than avoid it or, recast the character, they decided to just let children understand what death was, which is so beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful episode. If you Google it or look it up on YouTube, it's really beautiful. Yeah, how they all explain to Big Bird what death is. I know it sounds wild and crazy, but yeah, Sesame Street were always ahead of the game.
It's
Yeah.
just not fair that we couldn't get here. Like, honestly, they kept, I think, the rights and things like that. They said they didn't want it because it was too American or something like that around a lot
Hmm.
of the time. And you're just like, really?
It's weird because it was definitely available like in several languages all around the world. So you'd get it in like places like France and South America, and it's about buying the rights, I guess. And maybe the BBC just felt like they had their own shows. So I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Feels like you miss out though on your childhood. All I got was the movie, and I used to watch the movie back to back all the time.
Ah,
All the time. Like it just never stopped.
nice. I love Kermit the Frog, though.
I've had him since I was probably a baby, and he's just
Ah,
went all the way through everything, and I've still got him intact.
cute.
Yeah. Yeah, so I brought him out of the drawer because I keep him in a drawer out of the way.
Adorable.
Yeah. Does Lee have any questions to follow on?
I do. So, what made you decide to move to the UK in the first place?
That's a very interesting question. As I said, I was already an actor in Canada. I was living in Toronto, and I went on tour in a show. And I something happened to me while I was on that tour. My lung collapsed. I had a spontaneous collapse of my left lung while I was performing, and it wasn't anything other than uh, a normal sort of thing that occurs to people who are really tall and really, really skinny. I used to be really, really skinny. It's called a pneumothorax. It's a sort of freakish thing that happens. Your lung spontaneously collapses. And it wasn't the end of the world. I had like an operation that rectified it. But while I was in the hospital, I had like an epiphany that I wasn't really happy where I was. And I wanted to change that. And I wanted to move. And I thought maybe I would just take a year off and travel. And my father is from Northern Ireland, and I'd spent a bit of time in Northern Ireland when I was growing up. And I just decided, oh, I'll come over, I'll get my Irish passport, my British passport, both of them, and I'll come over and hang out in London for a bit and then travel all over Europe. And so I came over here when I was like 24, fell in love with London, and never left.
That's
That's
honestly
it.
really cool. That's really cool.
And
Something like
yeah,
that.
I know it's mad. Well, I'm a bit like that, I guess. But yeah, I just stayed. I met up with loads of people that I'm still friends with now to this very day. You know, it's been like a very long time. I just knew that like the first year that I was living here, I just was like the whole time I thought, I think I'm going to live here for the rest of my life. I just fell in love with this city, and I still love this city. It's been really good to me. I don't know. It's my and I feel like my it's my spirit animal. This city, you know. No matter how crap things get, this city makes me feel really happy. I love the Thames. I love Tower Bridge, but I love all the winding streets. I love where I live in Deptford. I just finished filming on a project today that was all, I've been filming on it for about a year, and it was all shot around London. And I just was like, man, I really love the city. And it was the best decision I ever made because everything kind of went right for me right from the get go. Whether I was working in a restaurant or I was in a call center or I was touring all over the world with a show or working with Jim Henson, which was a dream, or shooting a Hallmark film or eventually in Game of Thrones or on a kids' TV show, like ups and downs and sides and everything was just exactly, it just felt right. Everything's always felt right. So that's how I ended up here.
Well, it's amazing that like because of something like that happening, it's led you to where you are now. And
Mm-hmm.
that's life's beautiful like that sometimes. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And to follow up on what you were saying earlier about touring and all that, is you performed in a lot of theatre in your early career. Is there a standout production from that time that you really enjoyed the most?
Yes. Sort of near I wouldn't say the end of my stage career because I would still do stage, but near the end of a lot of my stage career, I did a production called Thick, which was written by my best friend, and I played an alcoholic, born again Christian, racist mother of two who inadvertently ends up killing her daughter's mixed race child. Um, and although what I've just said is very, very heavy, it was a dark comedy. And the beauty of doing that show, I brought it to the Edinburgh Festival, then we toured it all over England and Scotland, had great reviews. We brought it to Canada, we brought it to America, we brought it to the New York Fringe Festival, won loads of awards. It was a really incredible role. I mean, just, something I'd never get, in my life. So it was incredibly challenging. And I wasn't playing it in drag either. The way it was directed, I only wore a pair of glasses to denote that I was a female mother, and then everything else was. I built the character based on what was written, of course, but what I did was I started with my own mother, who's none of those things, by the way. My mother's not a racist or an alcoholic or anything like that. But my mother even asked me, she said, how did you find to play that role so well? And I said, well, I kind of just started with the base of you. And then I thought, what would you be like if you were all of those things? That's how I built the character. So there was a fascinating build around the character and her mannerisms and how she became who she is. Because as detestable as she was as a human being within the structure of the play and the darkness of the comedy, she's forgiven at the end because the piece is about forgiveness. And she's forgiven by her own daughter, who is probably, affected the most in the living of it. And she's dying in prison of cancer. And it's a beautiful, beautifully written piece. When we did it in New York at the Tribeca Fringe Festival in New York, we had people queuing around the block, but people would come to talk to me afterwards and just say, like, you portrayed this incredibly dark woman like so well that like I felt for her and loved her in the end. It was really a twisted, wonderful, beautiful piece about understanding ourselves and the mistakes we make in this world, and maybe hoping we might be forgiven for them. So for me, that was my favorite stage role I've ever done.
Wow.
Wow.
It sounds just like such a incredible show. Like, not just mixing the dark with the comedy. That is
Mm.
generally a skill. It's something that you need to work on a lot. But the fact that you managed to put it together to make a show that is that successful, but also has
Yeah,
that message at the end of it, that's a
yeah,
brilliant job on everybody who works on it.
yeah. And by no means was it like condoning her at all. It was just about who we are and the life we live and the mistakes we make and the mess sometimes we make of our life. Um, it was beautiful. It was really a privilege to play that role, actually. Yeah.
I feel like the most like special projects are always the ones that teach you something along the way, or like have
Yeah.
challenges and stuff like that. Them are the ones that you remember the most and enjoy the most for some reason. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Absolutely. But each role I've ever played in my life, every single role I've ever played, ever since I was 13, has meant something really deeply and profoundly to me, and has affected me. That's why I'm an actor, because, I mean, it was a calling from when I was a very, very young age. From when I was like 5, I wanted to be an actor. And to me, being other people is a way of understanding myself and understanding other people, really. And I love people. They're scary as well as being beautiful and complex. And I love different generations of people. It's a I would just say I wouldn't say necessarily I'm a gifted actor, but it's a gift that I am an actor because although it's not brought me like the wealthiest of riches in the world, and it's been very hard at times, I wouldn't change it for the world for my experience of understanding humanity. Yeah. And Nev is a big part of that, a very big part of that.
I reckon he should
Oh,
come back. I saw that Hacker is going to be a presenter on Blue Peter, so why can't
Yeah.
Nev? Like, yeah.
Nev can make guest appearances. I don't know if he could host a show though. He's a man of few words, right?
That's true. I mean, this one's got a very, very
No,
few words.
no. Yeah.
Oh, I can't even find my own questions.
Um, I'll ask one more before, as you're looking. And I know you
Yeah.
said earlier about, you're tall, skinny, and you have played a lot of sort of creature roles, like you were saying,
Mhm.
Game of Thrones. What's the audition process like for like a creature actor? Is it performance based or is it mainly how your body is?
A little bit of both. The one thing that will get me through the door initially is, but this is for a lot of roles. We're looking for a 6'4" skinny guy to play. This was for the White Walker, for instance. We're looking for a 6'4" skinny guy to play a warrior. He has to be physically fit, but not too muscly because we want to build the muscle and build a whole prosthetic all around the body. And we don't want it to be too bulked up. So the actor has to be skinny-ish. So basically that gets me through the door along with several other actors. With Game of Thrones, they kind of already knew they wanted to work with me. I had already worked with the makeup team on a previous project. I worked with them on Clash of the Titans. And I was playing a very large witch in that. But the prosthetics team already knew they liked working with me. So they had put me forward quite strongly to HBO. When I went in, basically, I was there with the casting director and a couple of other people from production. They showed me sketches, drawings, um, ideas, shared with me ideas, and talked to me about the character. And because the character, again, doesn't speak. So they were like, these are our ideas. And they showed me like a mood board, like a mood board
Yeah.
of what the
Yeah.
character would look like, feel like, be like, sort of thing. And then they just basically go, we'll give you a few minutes and you kind of can come up with something. We'll give you a scenario, like you've got a sword, because I sword fight. So they were like, can you sword fight? I was like, yeah. They were like, we're going to give you a sword, which wasn't a sword. It was a big cardboard tube from wrapping paper. Um, and said, we're going to just turn the camera on and you're walking through the snow and you come across a little baby that's lying in the snow and you are stealing this baby or you're going to do something awful to this baby. um, but improvise around that and do that, but use the ideas that come to you from what you've seen on the mood board and the pictures and things we've described. It's basically just being creative, really. And so I'm good at that. I kind of like doing that. That's a lot of fun. I'm like a little kid. I just love when somebody goes, this is the brief, it's like this and this and this. What are you going to do? I kind of go, oh, wow, okay, cool. Like free reign to kind of do something. I just made it up. I just walked through, with my sword. I pointed the sword at the baby. I looked like I was going to kill the baby. I held it to its throat. I picked the baby up. I was going to kill it. And then I did something really silly. I just kissed it. I went, and then I put it back down in the snow in my mind. And they all laughed and they went, oh, that was hilarious that you kissed the baby. I was like, I just said, I don't want to kill a baby. Like, like I'm not going to kill the baby. And they were like, okay, well, you don't have to kill the baby. Maybe you just steal the baby. So we're going to do it again. And this time we're going to record it. So the producers are going to look at it at HBO. So don't kiss the baby because it's supposed to be really scary for the audience. And I was like, okay. So I just did the same sort of thing and, stole the baby. And, it's all just imagination and crazy. Uh, and yeah, I got the job. I think mostly because, like, I don't know how to ride a horse. They were like, do you know how to ride a horse? I was like, no, I don't. And please don't put me on a horse unless I've had lessons. And they were a bit like, buzz, buzz, buzz. They were like, oh, we'll send you out on horseback riding lessons. I think I got cast in that just because, I'm a bit of a goer. I got lucky, got through the door, and I like working. I'm easy to work with. I'm fun to work with, I think. I don't have any complaints. I was recommended by the makeup team because they enjoyed working with me on what was a very hard shoot in Clash of the Titans. Although it was a very difficult shoot and really, really awful, and I felt like I almost died on that set. We had a good time and we got what we needed in those shots. And I really loved working on the film nonetheless, even though it was complicated. So I think, the makeup artist was like, this guy can work in a pretty complicated scenario with a lot of attention on him. I'm not intimidated working on a film set. I really enjoy getting on set. I love working with other actors, whether they're Michelle Pfeiffer in Ant-Man, who I've worked with, or, just another actor like me who's, unknown, or another creature performer, or, you know, I like it all. I'm not intimidated by it. And I don't think I'm difficult to work with. I think I'm not difficult. Yeah. That's the process. Don't be difficult.
This is the question that I've just come up with. This like
Good.
on the spot. How do you cope with the long process of the prosthetics? Because when I was on a shoot, one little bullet took so long, and I was sitting there, I was like, oh my God, this is taking forever.
I don't have any. Um, well, okay, these are my things. Like, I go into makeup for something like Game of Thrones or Ant-Man at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and as you can tell, I don't have a problem talking. I like talking, so like I sit down in the chair and I'm like, "Oh, what did you do last night?" Or they're like, like makeup artists like to talk too. So how we cope with it is I just chat myself away, and I stay quiet when they want me to. They're like, okay, got to be quiet. We're doing your mouth or whatever. But I'm really all about like, oh my God, are you watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Oh God, Lisa Vanderpump's awful. I love a bit of gossip, like everybody, I think. I'll be like, what movies have you worked on? Oh God, I was like, you worked with Jack Nicholson. Oh my God, was he doing like, you know, coke while you were doing it? Like they're like, what? I was like, I heard he's like completely wasted off, all that, like, just gossip. I don't mind. It's like whatever. Um, that's how I cope. We listen to music, we kind of chill. It's all a bit Scooby-Doo. I kind of like to listen to music and talk about different things. I can meditate when I want to, and I can nap kind of as well in a really weird position. Um, so 6 hours in makeup, I don't really mind. I get all the gossip, and I dish some dirt myself, and it's fun. I just kind of enjoy it, and I don't. I co I I cope well getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning and going to work. I don't know. A lot of people don't. I know that. But I do. I don't mind getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning and going on to set. It doesn't bother me so much.
Yeah. We love the gossip, honestly. There was a few times on here where celebrities have just like dropped a bombshell and we're just like, what? What? And then we're just
Yeah.
sitting there like trying to
What?
process.
Oh yeah, my jaw's dropped a number of times doing this show.
We still haven't recovered from some.
Good.
So I have this question because we love doing accents, we love making random noises. Do you?
Do I like making accents?
Like doing loads of accents all the time and like making random noises.
Making random noises.
He knows exactly. I can see Lee's face from here.
Making random noises. Well, I work with little kids a lot of the time now, like I do 3 days a week working at a gymboree. So I make really random noises. Oh my God, I love doing little accents, especially when I'm like watching a show that I'm really into. Like right now, I'm watching Too Much with Megan Stalter on Netflix, and I love the way she sort of. Oh my God, I love the way she talks, and I love. Yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes I do accents. I do. Like most of my friends are British, obviously, and I like to take the piss out of their accents a bit. In the same way, they like to take the piss out of my accent. Uh, you know, it's kind of give and take. Little noises. I mean, when I'm talking to my cat, I love making little noises. Yum 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 yum.
Yeah, I make so many different random ones to the dog, to the bird, and then
Yeah.
just to Lee on purpose. I'll just randomly drop it in the middle of silence.
Okay. Let's get
Yeah.
hear one. Let's do one.
And
That is so like my cat.
I literally got like loads of geese surrounding us, and I nearly got attacked by geese for making a honking noise.
Oh, I love it.
It was
I love
scary.
I love making the actual sound of sheep when I'm going past sheep. Because people are like, oh, sheep make this noise. Bah, bah. They never make that noise. Sheep make this noise. Ah, ah.
I've had a stampede of sheep. I've caused a stampede of sheep before, so I
Uh,
can guarantee. I had like a cup full of the feed, and I just ran down the fence, and then next thing you know, there's like 50 sheep running after us trying to get the food.
sheep are mad. They're crazy. I love it. I was just in the countryside on the weekend and it was like, ah, ah.
I always mock them all the time. When I barred at a sheep and it barred back, best day ever. Proud moments.
Yeah. Was that the same day we got nearly chased by a cow? Was that a different day?
No, that was a different time. You say you got chased. I nearly got headed by it. No, that was the same day as the geese as well, when you got bit by a swan.
Yeah, I learned
Um,
you can't hand feed a swan. It doesn't go for what's in your hand, it just goes for the hand.
yeah, swans are like they'll break your hand if you're not careful. They can break your leg. I like swans though. That's because they're sort of evil. Ducks are also really funny. They're super like angry all the time.
Honestly, I love ducks. I've got a duck beside me bed. I keep losing all my questions. What the hell? Which role are you recognized for the most?
The number taker, number taker. Have you seen the number taker? Yeah, the number taker most. Yeah, the number taker pretty much most of the time. I got recognized in a Burger King at Tottenham Court Road a few months ago. I was just ordering a Whopper with cheese. And this kid just came up to me. Well, kid, he was like your age. And he was like, oh my God, are you the number taker? And I was like, yeah. He said, can I have a picture with you? And then he asked this woman, this random woman, could you take our picture? And then he said to the woman, he was like, and she must have been like my age, right? And he said to her, this is the number taker. Did you know? And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I said to him, yeah, she wouldn't know that I'm the number taker. It's like your age, because she wouldn't have watched it. He was like, oh yeah, okay. I do get recognized as the White Walker sometimes because I have done so many interviews, and sometimes people will just pop up to me and go, I'm really sorry to bother you, but are you the White Walker by any chance? Because I saw you in an interview once on Sky or something like that. But it's a number taker, definitely, that I'm recognized for the most.
Lee, have you got any more questions?
I mean, funnily enough, you mentioned the number taker. How
Yes.
did that role as a number taker on Numberjacks come about? And what was the audition process like for a character like that?
Good question. So I was filming Bear Behaving Badly, and the director of Bear Behaving Badly was good friends with obviously many other directors at BBC and CBBC. And the director of Numberjacks came down onto our set and said, can I just have a word with you? I'm a good friend of Jenny, who was my agent at the time. She said, I just want to have a little chat with you. I'm casting this show, and it's mostly animation, and I'm looking for an actor, and I think you might be right for it. It's a non-speaking role. I need somebody tall. I need somebody. Well, she said I need somebody who like is sort of evil, like can do evil. But she said, I want somebody who's not too evil and too scary. And she said, and I just thought maybe you, because you've got very kind eyes. She said, I just feel like that's just the right amount of evil for this character. And then she showed me some sketches of Belleville Rendezvous, which was a French animation at the time that had won, I think, an Academy Award. And all the characters in it had these big, big shoulder pads and big, big top hats. And she said, we're looking at creating a character something like this, but all in white. And he doesn't have hands. He just has like a vacuum cleaner in one, like for one hand, and a clamp for another hand. And it'll be really creepy and weird. But you'll be the only, like there'll be lots of animated characters, but you'll be the only character that's not animated in this. And it was like literally went over my head like that. I was like, so, I was puppeteering at the time. So I was a little bit like, yeah, like I'd love to do it. It was so random. It was literally that random. I had no audition. She just then worked, they just got through the contract, and my agent phoned and said, listen, they need you for just a couple of days here and a couple of days there. Some of them were really just across the street from my house where I live here now in Surrey Keys. It was so random and weird. I passed by areas where I shot the Numberjacks. And then sometimes we were, traveling down to Bournemouth to shoot things. But it was always just me and the crew, because obviously everything else was animated. She was like, I'll give you the scripts, but they won't really make much sense. And literally I'd just get onto set and it'd be like, there's a number 4 there, and you pick it up, you try to pick it up with your clamp, or there's like 6 bowling balls, you mix them up. It was just like that easy. It was so odd. And it wasn't really until it was edited and aired that I realized, oh, it's like a really interesting show. And it wasn't until now really that the kids have grown up, and I have such a big following on like TikTok, and comedians are doing me, because they're now, in their early 20s, late teens, I realized what an impact the character obviously had on people. I've taken some fair share of abuse as well, in DMs. People messaging me going, you ruined my childhood. You're a kitty fiddler. You're an awful person. And I'm like, what, girl? Back off, man. I'm just an actor doing a job. I was like, and sometimes I'm like, hey, man, I work with kids. I love kids. Like I didn't want to traumatize kids at all. As a matter of fact, the BBC went out of their way to make sure that I was never framed in a same frame with a child ever, because they were concerned about that very thing, that, if you saw in a frame the number taker with a child, the mind kind of goes, oh my God, that child's in threat. So it was always like I was on my own, and then you would see like there was another child, like a child there, or so they went really kind of out of the way. But it's a scary character for kids. There will always be scary characters for kids. I grew up watching The Wicked Witch of the West on The Wizard of Oz, and she terrified me as a child. I mean, literally traumatized my nightmares. But the woman who played that character, Margaret Hamilton, was a wonderful, wonderful woman who did lots of wonderful charitable things for children, and was perfect choice for that, because she was really easy for Judy Garland to work with. They spent loads of time on set. She helped her with her homework, and so it just shows you sometimes like the people who play all the mean and evil characters are actually really nice guys.
I'm trying to think of like what character kind of scared me as a kid, but at the same time, I'm like, I think one thing that was totally scary was like Sarah Jane Adventures, Day of the Clowns. That absolutely scared everyone. But then I'm
Yeah.
thinking when someone introduced us to what Chucky was, that was enough to scare us for like 10 years.
Yeah, there's some pretty scary kids characters out there. Also, the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang
Yeah.
Bang. Oh my God, still utterly terrifying, right?
Yeah.
Like his nose. Brilliant,
Nightmares.
brilliant character though.
Is it true you've been writing loads of like, I don't know if it was scripts or like comedy?
Yeah, I have done my fair share of stand-up comedy in my life. I don't
He
do so
does.
much anymore. Um, I write still. I do some writing still. I don't produce it or stage it at all. Uh, but I do write. I've just come to the end of a pilot for a television show, which is loosely based on my life. I didn't write it; somebody wrote it, and but I have a hand in it. I would say in how it is basically. It's about an actor who's a creature performer.
That's
Yeah,
actually so cool.
it is pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've gotten to that stage of my life where somebody wanted to write something about me, which is wild. Yeah.
I usually write about me, but in different parts of life.
Yeah,
It's
that's
kind of
writing.
chaotic. I would hate it when I was writing the other day. I'm pretty sure some people would absolutely hate us for it for exposing every single bit of bullying.
Oh, good. Good. Good for you. Good for you. Expose them.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure one time when I even spoke about in school when I was writing, the bully came up to us and like, "What are you doing writing about us?" Look at
Exposing
one
you.
line. And then
I
I'm
did
Oh,
write I did write a script that got made years ago. And I did have to warn the people I went to college with. I was like, listen, guys, I've wrote about some of the things that happened. This is what I've wrote about. I'm sorry, it was just good content. And they're all like, oh my God, I can't believe you've done that.
therapy.
yeah,
Yes,
it is.
therapy.
Writing is therapeutic. Definitely. I think it's very therapeutic. I keep a journal. Um, but what's interesting is some of the times in my life when something very traumatic has happened to me, I don't write. I tend to not write. It's like it comes long after that I'm able to write again. It's really weird.
It just
I,
it takes a long time to process it as well. It feels like you go through all these different stages before you can just accept it or just I don't even know.
yeah, well, it can feel sometimes like open heart surgery writing. You feel like, oh my God, this is just killing me writing this. Yeah, I'm gonna watch a movie tonight. I haven't watched a movie for a while, and I'm gonna watch Talk to Me. Have you seen it?
He
Yes.
has. I
Is
haven't.
it
I turned
good?
it off.
Yeah.
I like it. It's really good.
Okay, good.
It's a lot of
The
emotion
other
in
actor I
there.
was working with today told me to watch that. I was actually going to go see Superman today at 5 o'clock, and then I looked at my diary and I was like, oh no, I can't. I've got a podcast today. I've got to do
You
that.
could
I was
have.
like,
It's fine.
no, I didn't want to cancel on you. I could cancel on you twice. I had to film last week, so I had a meeting and a film, like I was filming last week. So no, I'll go see Superman maybe tomorrow night.
I actually haven't heard anything about it somehow. Like I
I've heard
haven't
some
this
good
time.
I've
things.
heard a few things. I've heard it's good. I've heard the right wingers hate it, so I'm gonna love it.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, I'll
yes, I
tell you about it
forgot.
exactly.
Yes, I have heard stuff. It's
Yeah.
anti-Israel apparently.
When I first moved to London, I was walking down the street outside of the London Palladium, and Christopher Reeve, who played Superman when I was a little kid, and his wife and his kids were all standing outside of the Palladium waiting to go in to see something. I think it was like Joseph in his Technicolor Dreamcoat or something like that. And it was so obviously him, he had and at that point he had silver hair. And he was like, he just looked like Superman. And it was before his accident, obviously. Not long before his accident, actually. And I remember I walked past him and I just went, hey, Superman. And he just went, hey, like that. And he lifted up a little fist. I was like, oh my God, you're so cool for doing that. Yeah, I just never forget that. And my brush with Superman.
I feel like that can happen so many times in London. And when I went, I was like, please see, I get to see somebody. No one.
Really,
No one.
I've had a couple of weird run-ins. I one time I turned the corner really fast in Soho, and turning the corner as well towards me was Graham Norton, and we almost bumped into each other, and I went, "Oh hi," like as though I knew him because my brain was like, "You know this person," And then he went, hi. And then we passed each other and I went, oh, sorry. I said, you don't actually know me. He went, no, I don't. And then really weirdly, about 2 days later, I was in Borough Market and he was sat right in the window of a restaurant with a friend. And I walked past and I looked right into his face and he just went, oh, hi, like that. And I thought, oh, God, I'm so mortified. He must think I'm like stalking him or something. So weird.
Yeah,
I was like,
I
oh,
think I
God.
was I there like 2023. I think I was in Camden the last day, and then I noticed that there was this building, it was all painted lilac, and I was like, that's so strange. And then I was like, oh well, I'm going home now. Like I get on the train and it said Olivia Rodrigo was in Camden. I was mortified.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have jumped off the train, I would have ran.
I wanted to. It was free as well, free meet and greet slash release party or something.
What? Wild.
Happens. Sometimes you're
It
just unlucky.
happens. It just happens.
Well, Lee does stand up,
Oh,
although
yeah.
Oh, do
he makes
you?
most of his jokes about me because I make the jokes and then he kind of steals them.
It's
I should
because
go
one
back
of the
and do a
best
bit of stand
experiences
up.
I've had.
I just finished doing a stage show a little while ago, so I'd like to do stand up again, get back on it. We're coming to the end of this interview. Would you like to meet somebody?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, just stay where you are.
People watching us on YouTube, I have no idea what's about to happen, so you're going to be as surprised as us.
Should I add like a drum roll in?
Yeah, get the special effects going. It's a white cat that just walks around going meow as loud as it can.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Love you.
That is that is crazy.
I love it.
Oh my God.
Lola, get your Nev, get your Nev, make them meet.
Hey,
It's
now.
your twin, Nev.
It's me. Uh-oh. No, 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 no. No way, Jose.
My childhood.
This is this is so good.
Love you.
This never loves me.
Love you, Nev.
Yeah.
Love you, Lola. Love you, Lee. Doop de doo. Doop de doop de doo. Doop de doo. Doop de doop de doo.
Oh, thank you so much for bringing Nev.
I know.
Uh-oh.
Feels like my childhood's complete.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's here. Did you travel far, Nev? Nope. Sleeping. He's a sleepy bear. Sleepy.
Always sleepy.
Say bye. Bye. Love you
Bye.
Bye, Nev.
guys. Bye. Ah! Ah!
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you so much for
You're
giving
very
the time to
welcome.
do this.
No worries. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Well, I
So
hope,
maybe I'll see you again sometime.
yeah.
Yes.
This weekend I'm in Truro.
I don't know
And
what it
next
is.
weekend I'm in Taunton. No, this weekend I'm in Truro. Next month I'm in Taunton.
I don't know where that is.
They're all down in the near Cornwall. You know
Um,
that kind of area.
I've never
I
traveled
do,
that way.
I do a lot of conventions down that way.
It
It's a
must
lot
be
of fun.
fun though, all the traveling.
Yeah, it is. It's fun meeting people from all over. But you guys, if you're ever in London, give me a shout. We go for a drink. Yeah,
Yes.
sound good?
Definitely. Sounds great.
Nev will come and get drunk as well.
Oh, absolutely. Nev loves a little drinky.
Uh-huh.
Well, have a good night, guys.
You
You
too.
too.